So I'm going to share a story with you guys to give you an image of kind of how I viewed protection a little bit. And it does have to do with money. So when I got introduced or the opportunity to speak for the TV shows, I was like, oh, this is really cool. I mean, I got compensated well, I got to travel, I got a lot of notoriety out of it. And I was like, yeah, this is super, 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 super cool. So I was circling now with some big boys. And I mean big boys. Like $1 million was nothing. Nothing. These boys were in the hundreds of millions. Does that make sense? So all of a sudden, my world had changed, I guess. Like my network had changed. I was eating dinner with these guys on a regular basis. If I was flying to their home city, I was staying at their houses, things of that nature. And I was like, okay, this is kind of nuts. Like, I'm not even sure I'm supposed to be here, if that makes sense, right? And obviously, the crash happened, right? And so then I watched something happen to almost all of them. They lost everything because they were over-leveraged. And that was the reason they were all over-leveraged. They spent money like crazy, but they were over-leveraged. So I took a step back and I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, how do you, like, yeah, it's strange. And I did learn one thing from them, was that they were like, I've done it once, I'll do it again. I've done it 2 times, I'll do it again. Does that make sense? They couldn't care less. They didn't care less if they had to file bankruptcy. They didn't care less how many houses they lost. I'm not going to say they were unaffected, because that would be false. But their mindset didn't change because they knew they could rebuild their wealth. And they had an arsenal, and I was like, man, that's kind of powerful in a way. And I looked up to these guys. Does that make sense? I was like, man, I want 6 cars and a boat and all this craziness. I was like, oh, I want a $20 million home. Well, now you ask Philip-Neri about any of that stuff. I'm like, I don't want any of that nonsense. I don't need any of that nonsense. Does that make sense? Because I watched and I observed. So, but what was